Uh, the movement, it's kind of like a compendium of all the different kinds of joy that there are in the world. I mean, everything is incandescent and glowing in the movement, or celebratory, or stamping, or what have you. There's hardly a sorrowful moment in the movement. There are some minor moments, but even those feel kind of merry in a certain kind of way. I'd be interested in exploring certain kinds of bow strokes to make that happen even more communicatively. And also, many, many places I'm going to nag you to respect the pianissimo. And that means two things. That means not getting to the pianissimo until marked, and then when it is marked, really creating something special out of that, right? I think almost always in the movement when it says pianissimo or triple piano, he's calling for the kind of hush that should sound like we're making a special effort to make it happen, not merely the absence of loudness, right? And I think that's kind of, it's in its own little category in terms of sound production and in terms of how one hears the group sound. Good. Okay. Beginning. One thing that you do, which I feel is absolutely right, is that you kind of don't worry about tempo primo, the main tempo of the movement, until you get to the repeat sign. So the introduction has a certain feeling of setting the stage, right? I'm wondering if there's a way where we can make this opening even more luxuriant in terms of like, it should be like waking up in the morning and you're the rooster, right? And we all wake up and we sort of stretch our limbs like this, right? Every time we have a big crescendo to a forte or to a mezzo forte, right? So in terms of how we breathe in across the entire crescendo, that has to be something that conveys to your audience a sense of, right? Okay, and so there can never be a time when we're treading water, right? Where we're merely kind of close to mezzo forte and waiting till it says mezzo forte, right? But it really opens out as the sun gradually emerges over the horizon, right? Want to try from the beginning again? What a great night of sleep I had, right? Like it's a little bit like you're like the sort of the exhale of the crescendo you might. So make sure that we hear that one because he even gives you an accent, right? And invites Devin to change along with you at that point, right? That's good. I wonder, Devin, you look like you have a pretty good left hand to me. Would you be interested in doing a 3-3?
Sure.
Have you explored that before? Did it feel like, oh, I'd rather not do that? Or,
well, I can do
try it out. For me, the second choice would be using an open G.
Yeah.
But somehow, at the moment, the number of string crossings is too many. Okay, but you want to try the C string, and then, when you guys are good and ready, but like let them hang out there to dry a little bit. And then, right? Like what bird ever came in on time? Rather than just like, oh, okay, it's time to get up. Try again. Good, right, good. And Devin, you're a bit early on the last thing, right? Bum, ba, da, 3, bum, ba, dee. So make sure to wait your turn at the end. It's pretty good. Okay, so our first pianissimo of the piece is when Amanda and Chad come in, right? Right? So hyper alert and expectant, but not really right? I wonder, in terms of a general bowing for the in the movement, I wonder if you would consider, and this isn't always possible, but at the tip, then Amanda, for example, has 2 in a row, so then she has to do down, up, down, right? But when possible, I think it sounds awful nice at the tip with a backwards bowing. So you can, I don't know if you've tried a bunch of different bowings for this material in the movement, but I often, in other words, what you want is to feel like you're in control. I mean, we always want to feel like we're in control, right? But there's a, whereas down here, like the bow always comes off the string, and then we don't know quite how to get it back. So I often find, especially in the quiet place, where being at the tip gives us a little bit more kind of fine-tuned control over some of these dotted rhythms. But try coming in at any rate in the very first one at the tip backwards, and then you'll have to kind of negotiate after that. Do one more time. I like it. I like it. I don't know what you thought. Good, good. Do you guys look at this a lot when you rehearse? There are a lot of fussy little details that I feel like you don't quite know. For example, this chord that you just finished, you're holding out as long as the violinists do, but you guys should be off. And then they're in the fermata, right? So, and that's a beautiful little detail, I think, that they're kind of left sort of shining. So just make sure that that happens. Noah, is there a way to reverse the bowing so that the accented note question comes on the down bow? I think that would make it much easier to have the, if you came in up bow at the beginning. Try that out. I think it'll feel nice when you get to the, and then absolutely after that, you can split the final slur if you like, or up to you in terms of what to do after that. Okay, last time. I like the backwards. It seems uncertain in the right way. Yes, fine, okay, good guys. Lots of good things. Noah, what do you want to convey with your solo entrance that's different from what Devin did at the beginning? Emotionally, or whatever message?
I think it's a bit darker than
A lot darker. Yeah, good. Dynamically, what's the difference?
oh, it's pianissimo
Yeah, what is his?
forte. Like
It's mezzo forte.
that's
Yeah,
something.
big difference, right?
Yeah.
So right away, you know, he's the optimist, you're the pessimist. At the moment, you sound maybe a little optimistic still. But can you let more mistiness come into your bow, maybe? So like, you know, it's not as good as you think it's going to rain at about 11 a.m. And I see no reason to be so cheerful. Right away, you should suggest this to us. At the moment, I can't quite get that from just the consistency of the sound you're making. So you can really maybe go towards flatando, what have you. Then, this second big phrase is a much bigger dynamic shape than the first one, right? It's more bars. It gets to a louder place, which I think you could all make more intense. And is it Devin? Are you the one who has sha-da-da-da? It's the first viola, okay. Right, so like, show us that. And then you have diminuendo, which is how many bars? Until the repeat sign?
6. Yes.
Good. It's a lot of bars, right?
5.
Yeah, forte and then diminuendo. And you come to the piano about 2 bars before the repeat sign at the moment, and you have to find a way to fade further and not just tread water at that point, so that we feel like we finally come all the way back down to the ground. Yet another pianissimo, right? Can we go from Noah's one, the minor? repeat sign, do you feel a need to show the downbeat? Or have you been requested to show the downbeat, like where that moment comes?
I think it would help. I think it helps, but I don't know if I need to.
You're showing it beautifully. I think it causes you to make a little bump in your own playing, which I think is too bad, and I'm wondering if the group knows your intentions well enough that they can just kind of sense it without your having to do it.
Okay.
So that, and you can sort of slide into the tempo, so to speak. In a way, Noah can be the policeman into the repeat sign. Right? So he can be like the impulse guy, and you can be the smooth guy or something. That's starting to work, the diminuendo. Like every bar should fade to a new kind of magic from what the previous one was, so we get a continuum of 5 bars that way. Let's do one more time. And Noah, if you're inclined, I invite you to try the same kind of fingering that I suggested to Devin. I'm not quite sure how it works in the cello, but I'd be interested. Sound right away from the repeat sign. Now we get a yum, la da da dum, yum, da 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 yum. How can the two of you make your little response more euphoric? I could imagine maybe it's not right now. Your rhythm is impeccable. Yum, la ba ba bum, yum, ba ba. I want it to maybe yum, la da da dum, yum, ya da da da. It should be again expectancy. Is one kind of happiness, maybe, at least in this case, right? And plus he gives you these little crescendo things, right? Which mysteriously are missing when it comes back much later in the movement. But I love the idea of sort of rocketing up to the top of the arpeggio. Maybe that's part of it too. Would you just try it from the repeat sign? Struggle with in chamber music is wanting to show the complete gesture versus wanting to be together with one's colleagues. The struggle of ensemble perfection versus the integrity of the line. So right? Ideally, we wouldn't have a little just before the big downbeat arrival, right? But it's a little bit like I feel like everyone's checking in to make sure that downbeat will be together, and then right? And it's just a little bit, doesn't quite have the full satisfaction. So see what you can do to really bridge over that and connect virtually legato, right? You can still have a hefty accent on the arrival note, right, without stopping the sound before. That's better. I feel like as a group you have really good rhythm. So I can start fussing about agogic things. Does everybody know the word agogic? I need my shoulder pad. The idea of slightly shifting a beat to the right or the left to make a point, like a character flavor or this kind of thing. So what I'm talking about with that, right, that it might, you guys took, I would say like a 10% step in the right direction this last time, then, right? Playing it in such a way that we can still easily hear that it's a triplet, but maybe it starts a little late and maybe it goes a little fast, so that we feel like someone took us by the seat of our pants and launched us off into the air, because it's just a little bit compressed that way. And then, yum, the little rip that happens is maybe the flip side of that, and it will make sense that way. Look, let's do it one more time. And remember, when Cameron is playing, right, we've been in minor for a while until this repeat sign, and then the two of you are the ones who say, oh, E flat major after all, just kidding, right? Right, and then the kind of sound you make, it shouldn't merely be, right, like there should be a sort of, put the glow back into his major mode, right? Want to try right there on the repeat sound again? Yeah. I think one thing that makes Dvorak especially difficult to perform is his disarming simplicity, right? And would you agree that this has almost, it's almost too straightforward? The composing of the ti-ra-dum-pyo, and let's do it again, ti-ra-dum-pa, right? He's not doing much, 4-1, 4-1, right? But we have to invest this somehow with a sort of ridiculous over-the-top enthusiasm, right? This, I think, especially is hard for the violin parts here. Because you guys get to do your excellent, like, chromatic stuff, and then, right, that's easy enough to make. But is there a way, I mean, maybe it's partly, he seems to divide it all up with hats and sforzandos, and right? But you have to do something with your first long B flat. Right? Joyously carry yourself on to the repeated gesture, maybe. Cameron, I feel like I helped and I hurt at the same time going into Big 3, which is that there was a lot less writ this time, which I didn't want. I loved the size of the writ before, I just minded the break. Yeah, make as much writ as you like, but just then try to connect legato into the next thing. Want to go from shum, da-da-da-dum, shum, da-da-da-da, right? And Amanda and Chad, I'd like each of you to try to be the last person to play the second beat. Within reason. Again, I'd encourage you to explore the and then eventually, inevitably, but I'm wondering, right, the first time each of you has it, might have a certain charm at the tip and backwards, and then we just sort of deal with the second one as well as we can. Amanda, remind me, what's the loudest it gets in your solo? Or is it not specified? Oh, no, it really comes to a forte, doesn't it? Yeah, you could maybe have more verve, but you won't overshadow him because by the time he comes to his forte in the next phrase, all of you are going at it, right? And it will inevitably be bigger. But let's go. Can we go from? Is that bar 55? Okay, 4 bars, 4 big harmonies. Each one is a different harmony, right? Okay, so Fia de yum bo di do pi di flat C natural di do do. Right, each one tastes a bit different. Maybe the third one's the most intense. I don't know. But why don't you try right there on 55? Can you like kick your heels up a little more on the top B flat? It's such a weird kind of off the beat gesture for him to write, right? And then other people have little contributions, but as spirited as you can, maybe a bit more bow speed increase to the B flat might also, whatever you feel adds to the spirit of the top gesture.
Okay.
How did 4 feel? Or is that the bowing you were doing all along anyway?
That was the bowing that I was doing.
Okay, good. Want to try right there on, is it 4? Chad, welcome to the world of loud viola solos and bad registers. Right? It's so unfair, and Cameron gets to do his like screaming way high on the E string, and then we have to do. It's so disadvantaged, right? So, I don't want to put it too crudely, but you really have to hack here, or then it has to be a little bit of a look at me attitude because he just chose the wrong register or something, right? Can we go from the forte, which is, what bar is that? Oh, 3rd bar of 5, maybe? Is it better to start at 5? Okay, 3rd bar of 5. Several harmony changes, right? So then, right, that's a very surprising one, which kind of explains what the pianissimo is doing there. And then, at 90, and ti-da-da-ti-da-da-da-da-dum. Notice that he puts the forte on the second beat of 91. That's where Cameron says, no, we're going to go to one more harmony on the second beat, right? Everybody register that, right? It should almost be like everyone has a little bit of an accent on that second beat of 91. Or like a sort of because he's rhythmically getting in his own way, right? And it's part of what makes it so fun, I think, then to go to the cadence, right? Can we, that's better. I think, Chad, the other thing is hold your own rhythmically, resist the impulse to rush, so then, and it should be like, basically your bow arm is a big old sack of potatoes, and you're dumping it on the string every beat, right? Actually, in a way, in a sort of a comfortable feeling way, almost. And I think that will give you, a little bow length for each 8th stroke. All of that stuff I think will help there. Can we do one more time, same spot, 3rd of 5? Just notice the second beat of 91 as you get to it. So at 6, who was the melody? Okay, anybody else? I don't disagree. I think there's more to the
Devin?
Yeah, Devin has something really excellent down there. I mean, it's the it's not even a melody, but it's kind of like ridiculously sort of singing for pure happiness, even though basically like he's jawing one note over there, and Dvorak keeps pulling him back to the F natural, right? But it's a great thing. I think probably, it's obviously a balance problem, because the violins are both also primary, right? But maybe you can be pretty airy in your stroke, like
Yeah.
lots of left-hand enthusiasm, and if you've got any more, it's another one of those bad viola register ones, right? But some kind of absurd counter melody.